What is up, everyone? Today we are going to be walking through a property that we made $48,000 on in 4 months. That's about $12,000 per month. I'm going to walk you guys through the process. This is also earlier on in our remodeling career. So basically we're going to go through where we messed up, things that we could have done differently. So let's check it out. Let's look at our original numbers. This is from my spreadsheet that we did years ago. I've updated it a little bit since, changed some numbers, but this is the one I did whenever we ran our numbers to originally purchase the property. So as you can see from our original numbers, if I scroll down, you can see that we had an after refinance profit. This isn't technically a profit. It's untaxable because it would have been a loan from the bank. You would have paid taxes on it later if you ended up selling the property, or you could have 1031 the property later. That's something we'll go into in a future video. I didn't end up refinancing this one. This is earlier on in my career. I wasn't big in the rental game. I was just trying to sell it, make a profit, pay the taxes, and be on to the next one. So these are the actual numbers. We ended up spending about $2,000 in closing costs. That was a little bit cheaper than what we were expecting. Then we spent about $4,000 in holding costs. That was interest that we paid, also the fee to our hard money loan that we used. And then also we spent about $2,700 on wood floors. That was up a little bit. $1,500 on laminate floors, up a little bit. $2,000 on tile work. We ended up saving some money because we ended up refinishing the bathrooms and not redoing that back bathroom that we were expecting to do. The tile didn't look perfect, but we were trying to save money. Like I said, it was earlier in my real estate career. We didn't have a whole lot. Also, our hard money lender didn't lend us all the money. We ended up spending about $1,500 on trim and carpentry. That was up a little bit as well. Same thing on sheetrock. We ended up spending a little bit more on that. Paint on the exterior was a whole nother mess that we had to deal with. I was trying to get new contractors in and out, trying to just find new guys. I ended up paying a company that I found off of Google to clean the whole house. There was a bunch of vines on it. Then he told me while I was out there, oh, I can paint, I can take these gutters down, I can do everything. So I ended up letting him do it. He ended up cleaning the house, as he called it. Wasn't really power washing. He just started spraying all the siding. We actually did not want to paint the brick at that time, or overspray all over the brick and everything, really messing up a lot of stuff. I went out there after the first day. I ended up getting on top of it, telling him, hey, we're done here. I'm gonna pay you for what you've done. Let's just part ways. He was all over the place. He was a mess about it, saying, oh, we've signed a contract, I'm gonna sue you for all this stuff. He was not qualified to do the work that he said he was. He also, on top of that, our garage was falling over to the side. I told him to put up plywood on the inside of the garage, get it jacked up and level, and we would end up putting siding around the outside of it. Stay cheap, save some money. It was gonna be vinyl siding outside of the garage. We needed to level the garage before he did all that. He ended up taking all that siding off before we had even leveled the thing. Basically, we ended up having to go back with all new plywood on the outside and level it all, but we were lucky that the whole building didn't fall over, because that would have been a lot of money. Could have hurt somebody. He really did not know what he was doing. I'm lucky that we caught that after the first day of work. Otherwise, there would have been a big issue. I would have owed him a lot more money, a lot more damages. That's one of the reasons that we ended up spending more money. I would say that would contribute to about $3,000-$4,000 more that we ended up spending. So on the roof, we ended up having to replace the whole roof, not just the garage roof like we were expecting. We ended up spending about $10,000 more. We saved money in some areas, but overall about $10,000 more than what we were expecting. We also added some money onto the structural. That was not really structural work. That was actually brick work, where we had to fix some damages, fix some tuck pointing, and add a bunch of brick where it was falling out. Then on the plumbing, we spent about $2,000, about $2,000 on the electrical as well. Those were pretty close to the original prices. On the landscaping and dirt work, we ended up spending about $4,500. That was more than what we were expecting. We ended up having to cut a whole bunch of trees back, doing a whole nice new flower bed, making it look really nice for the area because it's kind of a more expensive area. The garage, we spent $500. That was just to get the garages that were there working and adjusted. The whole thing was sideways when we first bought it. We straightened it all up, got everything working correctly. Kitchen countertop, we ended up spending close to the same, about $2,400. That was a good price. As you could tell, we opened up that whole living area. We added a countertop, added cabinets. That's where our cabinet costs were so high as well. We also will do those now for a lot cheaper. I didn't have a cabinet guy back then. That was some guy I had just found from calling a bunch of people. We now can get those prices down. Bathroom cabinetry, that was $500. That was just for a Lowe's pre-built cabinet. You throw in, put the faucet on top, you're good to go. We ended up spending about $2,000 on appliances. I think that was close to what we put in in there. We ended up putting in some nice appliances. Like I said, it was a nicer area. We ended up spending about $800 on dumpsters. The dumpsters we used to use were the 30-yard dumpsters. I think we used 2 or 3. They were a lot cheaper than they are now. Honestly, the 30-yard price back just a couple years ago is about the price that we pay now for a 15-yard. Just the prices after COVID have gone up exponentially. On the cleanup, that was just the original cleanup. We spent about $1,000. I think that was close to what we originally had. So in total, we ended up spending about $61,000 on this. I think we had about $51,000 for the original. We ended up spending about $10,000 more. That would have been due to the roof that we had to put on and also the extra work that we had to do the exterior due to that contractor that we ended up firing. We ended up making about $48,000 on it after all was said and done. That was very good money. It took us about 4 months to do, $12,000 a month. You cannot complain about that. So I'm going to show you where this property stands now. It's one of the properties I wish I would have been able to keep. At the time, I hadn't done a whole lot of refinancing. On the original one, I think I had that I was going to pay 8% in closing to refinance it. I really would have ended up probably being able to pay closer to 2% on closing fees to refinance it. I really like to be able to keep properties if I can. I don't want to miss out on the appreciation over time. I also like that I'm paying down the loan, somebody's paying it for me, and I'm also able to refinance it, get that money back untaxed, be able to have equity in the property as well. To me, it just makes a lot more sense to be able to keep them. So I'm going to show you where this one is at now. It actually ended up selling last year for $268,000. They didn't do a whole lot to it. They probably put like $3,000-$4,000 worth of work into it after what we've done. So that's not that much. They ended up selling it for about $40,000 more than what we did. Most of that was just due to time and the appreciation that we had over the past few years. So basically that $40,000 would have been in my pocket if I would have been able to rent it, make it work cash flow wise. But I'll talk more about refinancing in a future video. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, watch another video, and thank you guys so much for watching.